has come. For 300 years, we prepared, we grew stronger. While you rested in your cradle of power.
Okay, so there's two things going on with this Heard v. Depp situation. So you've got America and you've got Britain. So in America, it's him versus her. That's the case. But in Britain, he's actually going after The Sun, which is a tabloid paper, and we have an update on that one. So he's running two cases at the same time right now. The one over in Britain, though, is going a little bit differently, which is kind of a shame. So the quick rundown here is that Ms. Heard is allowed to present evidence in a closed room. So everything that she's going to show, which will help The Sun, because he's not suing her over there. He's suing The Sun, and she's basically a key witness because they wrote a hit piece on Johnny a few years ago, I believe, and that's kind of one of the reasons he's going after them is because they're one of the reasons that he is destroyed right now. So all of the evidence that she has, she doesn't have to present it publicly. And we're going to go over the details in this article here, which will run down why that is. I think that that's a shame, but this is over in Britain. Totally different legal system than what I'm used to. It sounds like they're going to probably put everything, for her in favor here. So we don't get to find out what she has, as far as I can tell from this. So I wonder, what did she have? Basically, they talked about how everybody had to hang up the phone call at the end of the day. This is ridiculous. But, she's a very fragile lady. Gotta protect her. So she didn't have to present anything to the public, which I think is ridiculous. She's a public figure. She's the head of the METOO movement. She's a big spokesman for it. And she's pretty much put herself all over the place. And she's a public figure. She's a big celebrity. What does she have entitlement to privacy for? It's ridiculous. But she got it. So all the stuff that she has, we don't get to know what it is. Now when, this moves forward here in America, we'll get to find out because all of that's going to be public. I highly doubt she's going to get that here. So we'll get to see the little details that she has at that point. But, it is what it is. So let's go through this. All right, so anyway, let's get some of the details here. Amber Heard will be allowed to give evidence behind closed doors after lawyers successfully argued she should not be forced to make certain claims in front of the media. And I want to stress, Heard is a key witness in the case in which Depp is suing The Sun newspaper and its associate editor. So this is not the defamation case. This is a totally different thing. She's a key witness in it. But this is, a different case in a different country. Everything else is over here in America. This is over in Britain, which is a totally different thing. But they do share one common thing, and that's that he's, going after these people for lying on him. So Depp's lawyers claim that Heard has been using salacious claims to draw attention to the case and questioned her desire to give parts of her evidence without journalists in the room, which I agree. I mean, shouldn't what she has be open for scrutiny, right? Shouldn't the things that she has to present here be open for the public to see, to pick through, to talk about? I think, some of the things that have come to light recently, like that talk show stuff, like people have really been talking about that. And that's part of the reason why, in my opinion, a lot of the momentum has shifted over to Johnny's side. And that's a really big deal. It gives you public support. And, she's lost a lot of that big time. And it does kind of matter. It really does, especially in a prolonged case. And I think that this is kind of ridiculous. So now everything that she has, who can pick through it now? So it's kind of unfortunate. So she hasn't sought anonymity. Quite the opposite, argued David Shearborn, QC acting for Depp. He said Heard's accusations would be proved to be outright lies and said that they would need to be scrutinized very carefully. he argued Heard's decision to identify as a prominent supporter of the METOO movement and publicly take part in UN events about everything that, she's been pushing for a while meant that she could not later request privacy when giving evidence. And I think that that's actually a very fair point, but not over in Britain. Not over in Britain, I guess. Is it really the case that she is so distressed that it is necessary for the principle of open justice to be overturned? He later added, Depp is in the worst of all worlds, where it is said very publicly that he committed all these acts, but the details of them will be heard behind closed doors. Mr. Justice Nicol, having heard the arguments from Depp's legal team, said that Adam Wolanski, who made the case on Heard's behalf, ruled the nature of the claims being made by Heard meant she should be allowed to give evidence behind closed doors. The matters which will be dealt with in private are of a different order of what has been made public so far. I am satisfied that there is a good reason to treat them differently. So continuing on, the British trial had been expected to start at the end of March and was expected to feature a string of celebrity witnesses. However, it was adjourned 2 weeks ago after the judge concluded it was impossible to call on witnesses to travel from around the world due to everything going on in the world that I can't talk about, because that's how it is. Maybe if I was a late night talk show host or something. So anyway, things moved on. They had a Skype conference call. A bunch of people called in from as far as Australia to watch. Basically had patchy internet connections. And then when they got to Amber's portion, where she was giving what she had to say, all of her evidence, what happened at that point? They closed off all of the reporters, journalists. They had to cut off the call. And basically all that was left was lawyers and, clients. That's it. So that's unfortunate that this happened. And it's not really that fair. I mean, she's not a private person. She's very public. She had no problem running her mouth all over the place, destroying Johnny's career and jumping up on podiums. Really, she just wanted the attention, I think, kind of the celebrity. And she got it. But when it comes time to throw down what she's got, well, that's okay, Miss Heard. Why don't you come in here? We'll shield that, which I think is kind of some crap. But, it seems that the Britain system is a little bit different than it is here in America. I don't really know much about it, and that's the way things went. So it's unfortunate. So now people can't dig around and find out any kind of details, which, I think that that's a big blow. I particularly think it would have been very helpful if it could have came out in public for his case over here, which is a very important one because, it would show that, hey, maybe you shouldn't go destroying people's lives on Kangaroo Court over on Twitter. Maybe you shouldn't do that, or you might get sued for $50 million. You might get hurt. You might have to pay money because you ruined somebody's life. I think that's an important thing. I can't stand this movement with its kangaroo court mechanics. You just say, hey, this guy did this to me. You're done. That's a wrap. You're over. No evidence. So when you see cases like this come forward and you start to see the cracks in that, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just believe people. Maybe we should see some evidence. Maybe we should see some facts. And, then you got the Sun newspaper. I think that's important too, because this is a mainstream publication that helped aid in destroying him. These clowns, these bozos, they have to pay too. And hopefully we start seeing more of this. I know Geoffrey Rush had a nice little win. That really didn't get much attention. I kind of wish I had covered that looking back into it. I wish I had covered that case a little bit more. But he did have a nice win. And I'm thinking Johnny's going to at least get the win over here in America. She's for sure going to settle. I don't know how the Sun case will go. That's up in the air. I haven't looked at it as much as I have the Depp versus Heard one over here. But hopefully he gets something too. I'd like to see those clowns pay as well. All of these clowns need to pay because the circus is over. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about this? How do you feel that she's getting a little pat on the back here and some shields over in Britain? How do you feel about that? Also, throw a like up if you would. I would appreciate that. Maybe consider sharing the video. I would also appreciate that. Make sure you're still subscribed, by the way. That's a big thing. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.